Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. In this series, we will talk about React context and React hooks topics. At the end of this series, we will create a Crud application. Here you can see our application, and the purpose of our application is manage employees. Here we can add new employee, we can edit employee, and we can delete employee. Let's start to begin our application. From this green button, we can add new employee. Let's use a generic name like John Doe. And for email address, let's use john@doe.com. Here address, for the address, let's use this generic one. And for the phone number, let's use 777-666 and 555. I will click this add new button, but after I click this button, you will see an alert message for 2 seconds. I click new employee. Here our alert message, and our alert message is disappeared. Also, here you can see our pagination component. Pagination component working perfectly. For example, now we have this our second page, so our next button is disabled. Our previous button is working. Here, when we are our first page, our previous button is disabled, but our next button is working. Let's come first page again. Here also we can edit with this yellow pencil. We can edit our employees. I'm clicking this button here. You can see our employee, and let's change the name. And for the email, let's use, this is not email.com, let's make it hotmail.com. And for the phone number, let's change this with 999. Update employee. Here is again our alert message, and here we updated our employee. As you can see, we are sorting our employees by their name. Here we can see our total number of our employees and the number of employees which we are seeing on the page. For this application, I am using this HTML and CSS template. When you look this HTML and CSS template, and here's our application, they are almost 100% same. I downloaded this application from tutorialsrepublic.com. You can find the download link description below. Later we will talk in detail, but I want to underline the topics which we will cover in this series. We will talk about hooks. Before hooks, we were adding some functionalities to our React application with classes, but with hooks, we can add these functionalities without using classes. Our next topic is context. Context is an alternative way to pass data through the component. We don't need to pass our data always props drilling method. Also, we will use React Bootstrap. React Bootstrap is the popular framework built for React, and with this library, we need to use other dependencies like jQuery. We can use Bootstrap elements like components. Also, we will speak about the local window, local storage. With local storage, we can store our data to browser. We will use local storage as a simulator of our backend application. When we came back to our application here, inspect, and then when we go to application tab, here you can see local storage. And in local storage, as you can see, we are using local storage as a backend part of our application. Let's start our journey to create our Crud application and close here. Let's close everything. I opened my command prompt. To create React application, I will use npx command like npx create React app, and name of my application will be mantra amp. I will click enter button, and now the download process will start. This will take a little bit time, so for this reason I will pause the video. Download process has finished, and with CD man-tre-emp. I will enter my project file. I will open my code editor with code.command. In this series, I will use Visual Studio Code as a code editor, but you can use your code editor which you get used. Now I close welcome page and now I am opening the new terminal. Here, as you can see, we have default files and folders. Let's clean these files. First select app.css, apptest.js, later logo, report web vital, setup test, and I will delete all of them. And by the way, if code dot doesn't work at your command prompt, you can come file and open folder. You can open the folder which you create for this project. Now let's came to our index.js. Index.js, we don't need these web vitals, and then we can remove these imports. And also let's come back to app.js. We don't need this header anymore. We don't need this header. And then we don't need this logo. We already delete. Let's save. Let's also save index.js. For index.css, let's clean with Control S. I select all, and with delete button, I deleted everything. Here, I will open this text.html. Here you can see after the style tag, you can see our CSS codes. I will copy everything here. I will copy this code and paste here. I don't know if we will use all the CSS properties, but anyway, we copied everything. And now we will start to create our components. First, let's open again our HTML and CSS template. After open our HTML and CSS template, as you can see, I will divide three parts this application. Every row will be an employee component, and all of these employees and with this button will be employee list component, and also there will be this pagination component. Later we will add these related models. So first we will create employee list and employee components. Let's come back our code editor. Here in src folder, I will create a folder named components. And in this component, I will create firstly employee list.js. For employee list.js, of course, I will create a functional components because we will use hooks in this functional components. I will use this ES6 version of functional components with const employee list is equal to a arrow function. We opened arrow function and then curly braces. Let's make it employee list. Here I will return employee components, employee, and of course I will export this component, export default employee list. Now I copy everything, and here I am creating a new file named employee.js and paste this. Let's change the name of function employee, and we will export default, of course, employee. And here now clean this. We will turn back some JSX, but for now I will write one unordered list, and inside of this unordered list there will be employees, li employee 1, and I select Ctrl C with Ctrl V 2 times. I paste 2 times because employee 2 and employee 3. Now in the employee list, what I will do, I will import the employee component, import employee from, I will use relative address, so dot slash, here you can see employee component. Now we import employee component to our employee list. We will do the same in the app.js. In the app.js, we will import, let's come here and import employee list from dot slash in the components folder. Here our employee list component, and in the return in the div class app, let's put our employee list component here. I saved everything and there is no error message. Let's start our server. How can we start our server? With npm start command, our server will start. And one more thing here, I don't know if you did get your attention, but with React 17 version, we don't need to import React library to our component. What happened? We have a problem. What is a module can't found resolve app.js. Model not found error. Let's check our here. We don't need to import app.css because we erased them. Save, and now our server is working properly. And let's refresh. And here you can see our list of employees. This is the end of this lesson. In the next lesson, we will continue to speak React context and hooks.